Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a while since I've given my personal ratings of the various tiers of budget guitars out there. And again, this is just my opinion, average Joe's opinion on where the various brands fit. And I'm putting them into three tiers of budget guitars. And these are guitars in the $150 range, between, let's say, $100 and $150, okay, to make it simple. Really, really inexpensive, entry-level, beginner-type guitars for students, for folks that are just getting back into playing, for people that just want an extra guitar to mod, potentially, a host of different reasons, right? And I'm going to put them into three categories. The first category are the better options, the best options at that particular price point or around that price point. Then there's the middle tier, which is the next to best options, and then there's the worst tier, the worst options, in my opinion, of budget guitars. And then there are the brands that are outside of that range, right? That are for slightly few more bucks, you're getting a significantly better made instrument. So let's start out. So what prompted me to do this was this one here, right? This guitar that I just got, which is a fairly well-known name brand, Kramer, which I believe is owned by Fender now, the Fender family. This is the Kramer Focus guitar, and again, this is $150, $150. So, what brands out there, or what comparable brands are out there to this in around this price range? So let's talk about it. So first off, the better choices, if you're going to spend around that amount of money, maybe slightly more, are Yamaha, which has the Pacifica line of guitars, which are phenomenal instruments. Really, really top-of-the-line quality, bang for the buck. And typically Strat-style guitars, and usually, if not always, come in HSS configurations, a humbucker in the bridge, two single coils. Similar to this guy. Then you've got Squire with the bullet line, and sometimes the Affinity, although the Affinities have gone up in price, so they're outside of that range now. We're talking Squire bullets that are comparable to this guy. And again, Strat style, and I'm talking about Strat style guitars. I want to make it apples to apples. Then we have, I would mention Epiphone, but Epiphone doesn't have a Strat style guitar. They make Les Paul style guitars, but they would be, if they did, in that particular category, because Epiphone are extremely good value, good quality instruments for the price. Then we have EART, or EART, however you want to pronounce it. And they make extremely good quality Strat-style guitars. Although they unless you get a good deal on Amazon, you're probably going to be paying north of $200. So price-wise, they're kind of up there. But quality-wise, if you can find one, and sometimes you can find open boxes, or you can find a good sale or a good deal on Amazon, well worth the money. They are extremely well-made guitars, and they do come with nice, appointments like stainless steel frets, for instance. Some of them have, in this particular case, it has a plain maple neck, but they come with, the dark baked wood, whatever they call that. And again, I have a brain freeze, mental block right now, which you pay extra for, the baking of the neck to make the wood look darker and more, ornate. And the EARTs or EARTs come with that as part of, their guitar. Then we have IYV, people call them Ivy. They're found also on Amazon. Extremely well-made quality instruments. These are manufactured in Vietnam, same factory as Wolf Guitars, and the pickups on these guitars that come with it, stock pickups, are excellent. They're made by the same company that manufactures or used to manufacture pickups for Harley Benton. In fact, the Harley Benton guitars that are made in Vietnam are probably made in the same factory as the IYV guitars. Extremely good bang for the buck. And they have a variety of different styles, but very well made instruments. Then we have Rondo. And Rondo, their house brand is SX Hadean guitars. They also have other style instruments, but the Strat style guitars are typically SX or Hadean guitars. Again, great bang for the buck. Extremely well made, decent stock pickups, nice solidly built instruments, great support from the company, very good guitars. Then we go to Guitar Fetish, which is a very similar company to Rondo in that it's only online only sales. They don't have brick and mortar stores. Very good guitars as well. They have a line of guitars called Xavier Guitars, Xaviere, I believe. And again, similar to Rondo's SX guitars, very well made instruments. However, they tend to be a little bit more pricey, and their shipping charges are going up. So typically you're going to spend over $200 for one of their guitars, which is a little higher than a lot of the other instruments that I mentioned, or in the higher end of them, like Yamaha, for example, and Epiphone probably. Even Squire now. They're all getting close to $200. But very well-made guitars. The Xavier line of guitars at Guitar Fetish. Their pickups, their GFS pickups, which are their house brand pickups, are excellent. Excellent bang for the buck. They also have a line of guitars, guitar player Earl Slick. For you that are around my age, that are familiar with David Bowie, he was David Bowie's guitar player. Excellent guitars. And typically have, strange, interesting configurations. A lot of them have P90s and very good P90 pickups in them. Excellent guitars. And then, of course, you have Stag. Been around a long time, very solid brand, make excellent bang for the buck instruments. Nice Strat style guitars, excellent color choice, woods used, good quality instruments. So that's the higher tier that I'm putting these value-based Strat style guitars in, right? The next tier of guitars is the middle tier, which is a notch below what I just mentioned. And here you have your usual suspects. You have Monoprice guitars. They're Indio line, which a lot of you are loving and happy with. And there are great value guitars, and you can get them for a lot less than what I mentioned here. In some cases, when they have sales, you can get them below $99. You can get them in the 80s, which are crazy good for the quality guitars that you get. Grote or Grote, they also have some decent lines of guitars. Quality varies depending upon the model with Grote, but they do make basic guitars, decent quality starter guitars. Again, not quite as good as the others that I mentioned, but they're okay. Sawtooth, the lower end of Sawtooth, because they do have a higher end as well, which make quite good instruments. But their lower end Strat style guitars are, again, very similar to Grote and Monoprice. They're middle of the road budget guitars. I wouldn't say they're at the higher end of the budget guitars. Licks Pro also fits into that category. Donner, which you're probably familiar with, their Strat style guitars would be comparable. In fact, probably a lot of these guitars that I'm mentioning are made in similar factories overseas. They're all Chinese imports. Leo James, that's another one that would fall into that category. Zuai or Starshine, one in the same company, fall into this category. And Bad Cat, which is another one that you've probably seen on Amazon. Although some of the higher end Bad Cats would probably be moved up a notch to the Epiphone, Squire, Yamaha range of guitars. But again, it's a personal choice. And then at the bottom end of the budget guitars, the bottom feeders of the lower end quality guitars, are certainly, in my opinion, Glary fits right in there. Pyle, which is a brand that you'll see very, very often on Amazon. CB Sky, another brand that you'll see on Amazon. Ashthorpe, and Stedman. Those are the lower end of the low budget guitars that you'll find on Amazon. And then the final category, which is above and beyond those guitars that I mentioned, right, are the higher end of the Yamaha Pacifica line, which are just absolutely great value-based guitars. Washburn, again, the higher end of the Washburn line of guitars. Gretch, the Electromatic range in Gretch, phenomenal budget guitars. And again, I'm calling them budget because these are now in between $200 and $300, and in some cases a little bit more than $300. But great, great guitars. Gretch make a phenomenal instrument. Jackson, you can get the Dinky line of guitars, which are very reasonably priced, $150 in some cases. Excellent, excellent quality instruments. And along with the Jacksons are the Kramers, the Beretta line, not this Focus, which I'm putting at the higher end of the budget guitars. Not beyond that. The Berettas are significantly better quality than this guitar, and I'll have another video going over head-to-head comparison of this guy and the Kramer Beretta. Berettas are great guitars. Ibanez, another excellent value line of guitars. Again, price ranges all over the place, but typically between $150, $300 for an entry-level guitar, you're getting a really, really good guitar. And Schecter, which is a little bit more expensive. Now we're talking probably $300 and up. But great quality, great quality budget guitar. So, again, one man's opinion, and that's my opinion. And why the other guitars that I mentioned to this, like the Rondos and the Stags and the Epiphones and the Squires and some of the lower-end Pacificas, where they all have similarities are usually in the tuners, although these tuners are not quite as good as the Squire Bullets or the IYVs or the Earts or the Rondos and Guitar Fetish. They have better tuners. These tuners are the weak point on this guitar. However, the pickups on here, where a lot of these other brands that I mentioned, like Squire Bullets and the Rondo SX line, Haitian line, the Stag line, the Yamaha lower end Pacificas, they come with ceramic pickups. These are Alnico 5s. The best part of this guitar are the pickups. They're excellent pickups for the money. But other than that, typically the bridges, the plastic nuts, the tuners in some cases, the woods used to make the guitar are all comparable on at this level of guitar. Final thoughts. If you're starting out and you're looking for an entry-level guitar to start with and want the least amount of work, meaning you're not handy and you don't want to get involved with filing down frets and possibly making adjustments on the truss rod to lower high action out of the box or whatever the case might be. Again, my opinion alone, you're better off going with some of the better known brands, a la Epiphone, Squire, Yamaha. Although my experience has been with IYV that they're set up extremely well. I mean, really, really incredibly good for the amount of money you're paying. EART, E-A-R-T, or EART, extremely well. The ones that I've had set up on those guitars. Rondo, usually you have to make some adjustments. You have to put some work in to get them playable. Guitar Fetish, I haven't had a heck of a lot of experience with Xavier or Earl Slick. Stag, similarly, I had to make a lot of tweaks and adjustments on them. But for the money, you can't go wrong. Now, Monoprice is another one. Great value guitar, but you're going to have to know what you're doing, because in a lot of cases they do come with a little, some fret ends that stick out that may need a little bit of, sanding down, adjusting the action on the guitar out of the box. If you're lucky, you may not have any of those issues. Grote, for the same reason, I've had to make minor tweaks. Leo James was horrible, and Zuai, absolutely horrible out of the box. String heights way high, sharp fret ends, tuners that needed to be tightened, you name it, all sorts of little things. Again, if you know what you're doing, they're nits, they're nothing. But if you're a novice or somebody starting out that doesn't want to, get involved with that or doesn't feel comfortable doing that, you might have an issue. Guys, again, I don't know if I've left out any companies. These are the companies that I'm familiar with somewhat. And again, just one man's opinion. But if I've left something out or you have different opinions than this, fire them below. This is always a great topic for discussion. And if you find these videos helpful, please subscribe. And as always, guys, until the next time, be well and stay safe. Take care.